So, today was a new Nintendo Treehouse, which I would have watched live, but I was in online class, and I think it's over now, considering it doesn't say that it's live anymore. I don't know, like, what all the info revealed in it was, or what all the gameplay shown was. All I know is that this Nintendo Treehouse was all about Pikmin 3 on the Switch, and the new Hyrule Warriors being Age of Calamity, which is the thing that I'm really hyped about. So the original Hyrule Warriors, I actually 100%ed on the Wii U before its DLC, and then when it came out on the 3DS, I started making progress to 100%ing that as well, but then I was like, that's maybe not. And then it came out on the Switch, and I really regretted buying it on the 3DS, and I wish I had never played it on the 3DS because I couldn't really get motivated to put a ton of time into the Switch version because it was basically the third time that I was playing the same game. But with all the time that I put into the Wii U version 100% to the original, and then putting a decent bit of time into the 3DS version as well, I wound up getting really into that game, honestly, and I wound up really trying to optimize it as best I could, to the point that I was never using buttons like shield and just using dashes to freaking perfectly dodge every single enemy attack rather than ever having to shield, because you get invincibility frames with a dash, and freaking... that game is all about time optimization when you get down to it. So I would say I'm definitely looking forward to the new Hyrule Warriors, considering how much time I put into the original Hyrule Warriors and how much I optimized it. And speaking of Hyrule Warriors, lately I've been re-uploading my Hyrule Warriors on the Switch series that I did 2.5 years ago, which I deleted from my YouTube channel because the quality was garbage and I had a whole bunch of audio issues and yikes. So lately that's been being re-uploaded, and by the time that I get to covering Age of Calamity, let's just say that the content from 2.5 years ago to today is going to be very different, to say the least. Anyway, I figured I'd go into this Treehouse Live blind and just, like, edit this down to any comments or things that I want to note, instead of just, you know, highlighting the whole thing. Heck, maybe there won't even be anything of note, and then this won't even be a video and I'm recording this for nothing. Who knows? But yeah, so I figure we'll hop into the treehouse here, and I'll bring up any outstanding thoughts that I have as it goes on, I suppose. Rated everyone, 10 and up to teen.
Later in the program, we're going to give you a look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Yes,
but
please.
First, we do want to give you a look at a game that we, it's very, very near and dear to us in the Treehouse, which is Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
I'm currently in the middle of my Pikmin 2 playthrough on the channel right now, actually, which we're doing in 3-player with 2 other streamers, Chublima and Uneven Pictures, because we're using a mod that only came out earlier this year that allows it to be multiplayer like that, and it's really cool. And we just beat, like, the first, like, kind of plot point of Pikmin 2, like, when the fake credits roll, essentially. And, man, I gotta say, Uneven's reaction to that, since he went into the game blind, was freaking fantastic. But yeah, being right in the middle of Pikmin 2 right now with multiplayer, I gotta say, I'm definitely hyped for Pikmin 3 and definitely looking forward to covering this game when it comes out.
And who better to show us through a Pikmin game than my man Corey. So Corey and I are going to take you through a little bit of the main adventure.
My guy, you can't just say who better to show about this one specific game than my man Corey. You can't just say that. You should say, like, Corey, who's had, like, experience playing Pikmin games, yada yada, or he's, like, the producer or something, or he's some sort of a programmer or something. Just say, like, something with his experience. You can't just be like, who better to cover, like, Pikmin stuff than my man Corey. You need to, like, prove it. You need to prove that there's, you know, that he's good for the role, not just say, like, here's this guy named Corey and he's gonna be whatever.
They're very loyal, and you'll be using them throughout your adventure.
Man, I have played Pikmin 3 before. I think I've even gathered every fruit in the game. But after so long of playing, like, that one super long session of Pikmin 1, and then, like, the playthrough that we've been doing of Pikmin 2 in multiplayer, it's so weird to actually see the game with, like, this good of graphics. Or just see Pikmin with this good of graphics. Even though I have played this before, I'm now so used to Pikmin 1 and 2 that I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, this is revolutionary, even though I've played it before.
It also moves the Explorer. But what I'm going to do now briefly is just pause the game and switch over to motion control to control the cursor, just because that's a personal preference of mine. that I started to like a lot more on the Wii U release.
And
but
I
it
mean,
is
the gyro
totally
controls of the
optional
Switch
for
are
player
actually
preference
really
on how
good,
to
so I mean, it'll be
play it. So
intriguing to
that
see how
red
that plays
corner where
out.
see
You can lock
Tranquility
onto the
is now
butterfly?
being controlled with just a little bit of motion now. But
No,
if I
don't do
try
it.
to take the direct and whistle all of my Pikmin back to land, so because the Pikmin are so helpful.
I gotta
throughout
say,
my
Alf
adventures,
is
you
like
really
the
do
best
grow a bond with
lifeguard.
them, and you do not want
Someone's
to,
drowning,
lose
just
them once.
whistle to them until they get out of the water.
And that sound is absolutely
Also, this
heartrending,
doesn't-
and I do not wish that on anyone.
It is in 1080p
However,
apparently. It
if
doesn't
you
look like
put
it's in
Pikmin in a bad
1080p.
situation-
Explorer cannot jump. The only way to reach this item is actually
There's
by
another
tossing
little strawberry
Pikmin
growing.
near the strawberries. So the
Did you know
minimum
that
number of
strawberries
Pikmin
aren't actually
required to move the
berries
object
because
is
those seeds
3,
are on the outside?
but you can throw a few more
Who says watching YouTube isn't educational?
as we're trying to continue. And then even
There's
in addition,
achievements?
some arrows
Retrieve a
on the
fruit in
ground,
story mode.
just to let you know where to
Was
go.
that a thing
So
in the original
it's
game, or
guiding
did they
you to
add
a nearby
achievements?
cave here to maybe find what we
Intelligent
need to
Life.
progress the
Retrieve
story.
15 exploration
And at the
notes.
top of the screen, you'll notice that
I
kind of sun
don't
meter,
recall
kind
this.
of
It's been a
falling
very
across
long
the
time
side
since I
across
played
the top of
Pikmin
the
3,
screen.
but
And that kind of indicates how much time,
But still.
you know, Corey has to
if they
put
added
through
that,
these
that's
tasks,
actually really
as
cool.
well.
I like
Let's
that.
just say nighttime is not.
Brittany, finally.
Can I offer you an egg in this trying time?
Break down this. It actually comes in.
Well,
handy
you know what
from
they
a
say,
strategy
when life gives you
perspective, so
lemons,
having Brittany,
you make fruit
can
juice and
toss
bring
her
it back to your
over
planet.
that.
Man,
But
it's so much more
since,
charming
since
than
we do have
Pikmin 1 and
explorers
2.
now in the game, both
And I
Alf
have,
and
like, I've played
Brittany,
Pikmin 3
JC, I thought
before,
it
I've
could
said
be
it
a good
before.
time to,
But it's
for
been
you to
so
hop in
long since I
since,
played it.
with
I'm
Pikmin
so
3 Deluxe,
used to
it is the
1 and
first
2
time
now.
that two
I'm
people
covering it
can
on my
play
channel.
the story mode
Like,
together.
looking at 3 makes it look
Anytime
like
you
it's this
pause, go to play co-op,
next big thing.
and,
Oh, it's
JC,
badges,
you'll
not
hop in?
achievements.
Absolutely.
Cool.
If only this was online.
we'll
Oh, they have the
see
freaking
the
special
screen
Smash
now
controller.
becomes
You can
split
tell because when it
with me on
connected,
the left, JC on
it
the
showed
right.
like the
JC doesn't have any Pikmin
white
right
grips.
Now, so he
I'm lonely,
can't
give
really
me
do
some.
much on his own.
like
So
it's
we'll
so
just have
weird
to
for
whistle
the
at them
port
and
of
join the party.
Super Mario
Pick them up,
3D World.
and I'm gonna
There
keep
is going to be an
charge of these
online
rock
co-op
Pikmin.
mode.
Let's just keep making
So
our way
why
forward.
not for
There's some creatures up here that
Pikmin?
are
Because
carrying
like we're
crystals,
doing
which,
an
can be a
online
little dangerous
multiplayer
to
thing
the
of
red Pikmin,
modded
so let me
Pikmin
take
2,
these guys
which
out
is really cool, and I'm
before
really enjoying that
the
playthrough.
squad comes in.
But
Right, they are-
it'd be really
they're
cool if we
gone.
could, you know, continue
So,
that
I'll
with
put
Pikmin
these,
3.
bridge tiles over
but
here and start
we
building,
can't.
because yeah, there's a bridge. So
Because
I'll put
Nintendo is
them
like,
Okay.
you know what?
There is a
We're
bridge
gonna
we
give this
found,
treatment to
and
Mario,
JC's gonna get
but not
inside.
Pikmin.
some
Screw
bridge
that.
tiles on
Even
the
though we've
left
implemented
that you
multiplayer in the game, we won't bother to implement it for
carried back,
online.
but it was in a
Like,
sort of
multiplayer is
crystal, so
one
I
of
used
the
my rock Pikmin
biggest
there.
ways that you would
And I'm
add
gonna send some
complexity
teamwork
to a
here.
game,
JC is using
and like, you know,
his
more
squad to
production
do a different
time and stuff
task
like
than
that
me,
is one of the
which
single
is,
greatest things you can do to a
again, we're
game that
making the
just
most
like
of our time.
increases the amount of programming and complexity that goes into it.
So I'm gonna,
But
looks like I've got 7
if
more
you've
bridge tiles to
already
go,
created
and
a
we'll have this
multiplayer mode
bridge
for local,
completed.
it's surely not that hard to make it possible for online as well, and they've already done it for another similar game that's coming from the Wii U to the Switch anyway, but they just didn't bother to for this game. Nintendo is a very strange company sometimes. I do like them at the end of the day, but sometimes I find them very
So our bridge should be done now
questionable.
almost. Looks like they've got it. Final pieces in
Most
place,
recently, the
and
thing that I found the
there we
most
go.
questionable
So
about is Super Mario
now we've got
3D
the bridge, I'm
All-Stars,
just gonna
which
whistle
I might
to
make a
make sure I've
dedicated
got
video
all of
essay
the,
on.
And the more fruit you collect, the more days you're going to be able to explore this world. So that's how
You
fruit
never
plays
have
a
to
role
worry
in
about
the
running out of
story
days.
mode.
Like, the amount of extra days that the fruit
Brittany
buys you
here
in
is
Pikmin
noticing
3
that
is
we
freaking
got a new,
insane.
radar.
It'd be really
kind of
cool if there was, like,
detection
difficulty
from
modes or something like
elsewhere on
that,
the map, so
where
please
fruit gave you, like,
recommend you go check it
way
out.
less extra days.
Left. JC, if you kind of come up to where I'm at, I'm going to hold down the Y button, which will allow you to join my party, and then I can toss you over the water, and I can also throw some rock Pikmin.
But
over
why
to you.
is there no online
I think you're gonna need
multiplayer
some
for
rock
this?
and some wood. Actually, the one other feature I wanted to showcase briefly is another new feature to Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is called the Piclopedia. And here, any
Didn't that
creatures you
already
come
exist
across
in,
the
like,
game will
Pikmin
get their
2
own
anyway,
entries,
though?
and you
So it
can,
wasn't
once you go
already in
you
Pikmin
can
3?
Tap on it and see different entries from different
Can you
explorers.
throw
in your party.
Pikmin carrots at them?
We've got Alf here that's commenting
Like in
on
Pikmin
this
2.
dwarf Bulborb. Since we've got Brittany, we can see her comments as well. There are spaces for 3 additional explorers notes, so you can imagine that there will be some other fun notes to read about as well. But
Oh, that'll actually
I
be
find that it's really
interesting.
fascinating
I
to come in
already have a
because each
feeling I know who the
explorer
other
has their
3
own take
are.
on how they
That'll
talk
be
about
interesting
the
to see.
enemies and creatures you come across.
For those people, there's actually a much more difficult mode for you. So,
is there a hard mode?
Yeah, there are 3 difficulty modes in story in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. There's normal, hard, and there is even an ultra spicy difficulty setting.
It's literally called ultra spicy. I'm playing that.
Pikmin can be in the field at once.
Oh.
As well as some additional challenging elements. So for those that are familiar with Pikmin 3 or want a much bigger challenge, that'll be right up your alley. But
I'm gonna play ultra spicy.
yeah,
that's actually really
now,
cool.
let's
I like
hop
that.
into
I'm gonna
a
play
sneak
ultra
peek
spicy
of
mode for my
side
playthrough.
stories, which I mentioned feature Captain Olimar prior to the happenings of the main story, and we're gonna see Olimar here facing the camera. Sort of the background of this is that Captain Olimar, the company he works for, is in debt yet again, back on his home planet.
Again?
And his boss is sending him here looking for treasure to help the company get out of debt.
Again.
Olimar is a very loyal worker and will go to great lengths to make his boss and employer happy.
Olimar out here providing.
Good for Olimar here. Let's see here. All right, the
Like fruits and nuggets.
objective of this mission is
Oh,
actually
there's
going to
the
be different
president.
from the story mode we were playing earlier, because now the goal is just to collect as
Oh.
much treasure as we can in 12 minutes.
And he's already got a
And
fully
JC,
developed
of course,
onion.
we
Oh,
got
so it's
you
like a
in here.
challenge mode thing.
Split
I think
screen
my
right
camera's
now,
blocking it, but it
for
showed
the
a
moment,
12-minute
we'll
time
switch it
limit.
back to solo
Yeah, my
play,
camera's blocking it.
For simplicity.
If I
and
turn it off
will,
here.
I still do
That's
get to
interesting.
control both explorers, so I can still get
Oh, there's
Olimar
like
in
the
my
ship
party.
head, kind
I
of like in
can
Pikmin 2,
also
but it's a
call
different ship
Yellow
now.
Pikmin, which we're seeing for the first time
Oh.
in this demo over. We've got this electrified fence where if I throw a red Pikmin at it, we'll see them get a little bit electrocuted.
Okay, so they don't
the
instantly
yellow
die to
Pikmin,
electricity like in Pikmin 2, where
immune
electricity is like literally the most OP
if you
element,
throw
because
at
like
an electric
the other
fence,
ones you
then
can
they
whistle your
start
Pikmin
destroying
back,
it.
but
So
electricity just
we
like
will leave
instantly kills them, and
Louie
I've
there to keep
lost
an
like
eye on
35
our yellow
Pikmin at
Pikmin
once in a
while
cave
we take our
in the
red
currently
Pikmin
ongoing
up
Pikmin
into
2 playthrough.
the rest of the map. And we found some wild Pikmin.
This will be a
new
very
Pikmin
interesting
wild
challenge
here,
mode,
so we'll
actually.
just
I'm
call them.
really looking forward to
But
this.
Before we hop,
Just want to point out the
People are gonna like
different
speedrun
ways
slash
you can kind of
optimize these
think
kinds of
about
things.
a
Well,
map.
maybe not like
You know,
speedruns,
from my
it's just that
perspective,
time
if you
limit.
have a
But like,
large
try to set
number
records for
of
like the
Pikmin,
most
that really is
Pokos.
a defining factor.
ooh, and pluck some more
So
Pikmin.
I assume you
Now
have to
they're
reach like a
plucking.
certain amount of
While
Pokos in
Pikmin
each
are being
challenge
plucked, it's always a good
in
idea
order to like
switch
clear
to
it.
your other explorer, which is completely different from anything we've shown so far. And
Oh, look how good it looks, though.
One-on-one competitive mode called Bingo Battle.
Yeah, so Bingo Battle, is definitely one of, I think, our favorite modes in the Treehouse, because it gets really, really heated. You'll see in a second.
Oh.
And the objective of
I
Bingo
remember a
Battle
really,
is to fill out
really
your
long
bingo
time
card.
ago
I'm gonna be on
playing
right side, Corey
the
will be on
versus
left.
mode in Pikmin
And
2.
of course, if you're familiar with Bingo,
And
all you
enjoying
have to do
that.
is just make a line. It could be vertical, horizontal, diagonal. any
So
kind of
this
line.
might be
And
fun.
to
The people
fill
that
out
I
each
played
of those
Pikmin 2
little
with back
spaces, you
then,
have to collect
I don't know if I'd ever
random
get the
or
chance to
an
do
enemy fill
Pikmin
in
3
that
with.
space.
Maybe I would. I don't
Sometimes
know.
there's multiple of an item.
Oh, that's
Sometimes there's not.
cool.
But if you take a
Oh,
look
that's
at the two
actually
cards in the
quite
bottom of the
interesting,
middle,
isn't it?
you'll notice that there are the same items, but they are placed
Oh,
differently
and the
on
leaf colors
each
are
of our
different for
bingo
you to
cards.
tell like whose squad is
And,
whose. That that's actually
I'm not as
really
good
cool,
at this
honestly.
mode
That's
as
actually
Corey, so
really
I'm
cool.
gonna focus a little bit, craft my strategy of what I want to focus on first, and
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about
Oh,
what's
I
going on
like
right
the
now.
look
So
of
it's,
this.
we start with only 5 Pikmin by default. Of course, you can customize that, but because
But
we
it's
start
not
with 5,
possible to do
you're
online.
going to want
So,
to
like,
create a
I'm
larger
rarely
Pikmin
ever gonna
squad
get the chance
as
to do
quickly
this
as you
because it's
can,
not
because the
online.
more Pikmin that you have in your squad. And
Man,
again,
I
you
sure
do
would
want to
love to play this
sometimes
with my
be aware of what
friendos
your, opponents
that
up to,
aren't
so
here
it's
locally,
good.
but
okay, so that's fine. Okay.
Because they can be another item.
Why
that I
have you
picked
not
up
yet
through,
whistled to
the
that massive
Maximum
squad?
Cherry is sort of a free spin.
it's so
on
painful to
the,
see.
Which is, I see the line that I want, but I'm. Oh no, that was a direct hit. Oh my gosh, you got me at like the right time. I have one.
Whoa,
I was staring at your screen.
That
I'm
is
sorry.
so OP. Hold on.
I'm down
Whoa,
to
whoa, whoa, wait a
right
second.
I want, but I'm.
Hold on here. If I turn off my camera, so we use the freaking rocks,
So I
and it just flattened all of them. So there's the other powers that just like the lightning, for example, that just temporarily immobilizes them. But that just straight up kills.
direct hit. Oh my.
I just straight up murderizes all of them.
No, that was a direct hit. Oh my gosh, you got me at like the right time. I have one.
Oh, I was staring at your
one
screen. I'm
Pikmin.
sorry.
I'm down to one single Pikmin. If I win this map,
Oh man.
dude,
Oh, please
get
tell me
ya.
this is happening.
nice.
Oh, this is so good. Oh, my
JC
palms are
got
sweaty. I'm so excited. That's so good.
So what was I think from my perspective, what really turned the tides there is I had about,
This mode
I was
actually
about
looks
to
like a lot of
defeat
fun.
both Bulborbs that
Too
I
bad I'll
needed,
never have
but
anybody
then
to play it
rock
with
came
since you
down
can't do it
at just
online.
the inopportune moment.
So there's
So
red
there's
and yellow
really
Pikmin in
less
this one
of
rather
an
than red and blue, it
opportunity
looks like.
to make mistakes here. There's also just a lot of again, the map is small, so we want to be acting.
Seems
very
like it's
quickly
way easier
with
to
our moves.
time
Yep. And Corey,
getting the
again,
right
because
pellet that
Corey
you
pointed
need
out
since
the
it
map
just
is
breaks
so
it instantly
small,
instead of
you're
it taking
probably
like a
gonna
couple
get
seconds like in
pretty
Pikmin 2 and...
good,
Oh, that looks
Yeah, the only
dangerous if
thing-
they're coming
the
right to
only
your
thing
base.
between us is that really this.
Oh yeah, they're right
Scares
next to
me
each other. I just
because-
saw... Yeah, there's player 2's base on player 1's screen.
All right.
I wonder what happens if you actually lose all your Pikmin in this mode.
Okay.
Does the onion just like sprout one to give you just so you can do things again? Or do you just like lose?
Use a charge. Things over. You. Oh my gosh.
So it's only nice
No.
to give gifts that.
So wait.
give JC the gift of the same.
Hold
bomb
on.
rocks that- It's only.
So where did the rocks land then?
You.
It was like semi-random?
So it's only nice
No.
to.
Wow, that actually helped him! Is the thing though. Like it missed most of his Pikmin, it hit the captain, who lost some health as you can see a little bit there. But he lost like 4 or something
So it's
Pikmin,
only
but
nice
literally
to give
all the
gifts
Bulborbs
that,
around him
give
died.
JC the gift of the same bomb rock. I think that was a little over 2 minutes.
So it looks
That
like the
was a
golden
little-
strawberry
that
is
was
a
that
different
was
thing on the
speed- That
list.
was like a mercy win right there. You were
It gets
just ending
really
it quickly.
competitive playing.
Ugh.
Be on the lookout for an eShop demo that will include save data transfer to the full game. And if you complete the eShop demo, defeat the last boss in the demo, you'll be able to start the full game with Ultra Spicy mode if you'd like that extra challenge. So again, thanks for checking out.
When
all
is
the
that
games
available, I
Pikmin
wonder,
Deluxe.
because I
Don't
do
forget
want to
the
hop
game,
into it.
itself comes out
Wait, did he
at
say
the
when
full
it...
game, the eShop demo that will include save data transfer to the full. Be on the lookout for an eShop demo that will include save data transfer to the full game.
This
Awesome.
isn't
Thanks,
already
Corey. Really
available, is
appreciate
it?
Thanks for letting me have that one win, because that does not happen often. And again, I can't wait to play some more Bingo Battle with you, in October. So,
Yes,
coming
I'm
up
searching
next,
this up during
obviously,
the
is,
direct.
I'm waiting for this too, which is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So,
Does it
over
show
to you,
it?
Kay?
I don't think so.
Thanks, JC. Thanks, Corey. Wow, Pikmin looks like a lot of fun. Hi, everyone. I'm Kay from Nintendo Treehouse, and I've got my colleagues Chico and Kendra here with me. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that we are doing this remotely. So there might be some technical limitations, but we're asking
My camera
for
like
your
perfectly
patience
blocks
and
one
your
of them.
understanding as we work as hard as we can to bring you an amazing stream. So today we're going to take a look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Once again, they fail to say, like, who they are, though. It's just like in Pikmin 3, where it's just like, oh, my friend Corey here, and neither one of the two has said, like, who they are. Like, if they are content creators, if they work with Nintendo, if they're involved in the games themselves. They've said nothing about who they are. We're just like, they're just like, we're people. We're gonna be playing the game. Huh?
We'll start off with a first look at Urbosa. I'm so excited.
Woohoo!
Chico, are you ready?
Yes, I am. So
Let's get started.
I'm fine. I know. I'm.
This is what I've been
as
looking
you
forward
can
to,
now,
but
you can see.
I know that I'm used to
And
playing
I'm
Hyrule Warriors, like,
actually
really
inside the
optimized and
identity
such, so
camera
this
now.
is gonna be, like,
And then it is a Hyrule Warriors
semi-uncomfortable
game,
for me to
using
see,
X and
probably.
Y,
I mean, just like in the first time that they reveal some of the gameplay of the new Hyrule Warriors, where, like, I know that it was really basic, so that, like, it makes sense for them to not do things, like, super optimized, even if they're able to, just, like, not to overwhelm people who are new to it.
Why they're here. But the objective is I have to actually defeat all 3 EGA.
Freaking hit him some more while his thing
So
is...
to do that,
it's painful,
in addition to the usual Hyrule Warriors action,
I do like the
actually,
D-pad kind of thing and the
moved
arrow effects
the
of stasis.
counter and I can use. I just use. the
Anybody who's
spaces
seen a
now,
lot
as you
of my
can
Breath
tell.
of the Wild
But,
playthrough
each
knows
task
that
you can use all four,
I
different
kind of
moves in
hate
different
Breath of the
occasions.
Wild. I literally made a
So,
3-hour
I need
discussion
to
video on
focus
why
on
Breath of the
the
Wild
task
isn't a
we're doing right
masterpiece.
now.
I didn't
So
say
I'm
it's a
gonna
bad
let
game, I
Kay
just said
and
that's not a
Chico talk
masterpiece,
about
is all.
what's unique
And
about
typically
the
my
game.
thoughts on it are,
Great,
the
thank you so
gameplay is
much,
mostly
Chico.
great, but I
Yeah,
really dislike the
Urbosa's
story and music
gameplay
wall
is
jump.
really
Interesting.
fun and exciting, and
But the
as
biggest
you can
problem that I
see,
had with the
it's
story
focused on
of Breath
her
of the
ability
Wild
to
is
use
that the
an attack with
story in the
lightning.
here and now of Breath of the Wild
she has
is
a unique ability to
go screw up
charge with
Ganon.
lightning, which
go get
is
shooty
represented by
lasers,
the
screw up
H
Ganon.
at the top of the screen.
Most of the story of
And,
Breath of the
yep,
Wild
she's
is
charging
little
it right
bits
there,
and
and once it's
pieces of
charged
what
up,
happened
she can
100 years
actually,
ago.
use
So the fact that
the
there's
lightning
now a game
in
that
addition
can like
to
potentially
her
fully
strong
flesh it out
attacks to
might
kind of
make me
strengthen those
actually
attacks
like
and do some
enjoy the overall story of Breath of the
character-specific
Wild
stuff
more.
with
And by
it.
overall story I mean
She
like
also
with all the
uses
games that go
lightning
into it,
in
which
her,
will include this game and Breath of the Wild too. Maybe I'll like it as a whole
and in
way
her
more.
Special attacks.
Yo, did I just see you do a
and
dash to avoid an
if
attack? Maybe it is more
Chico can
optimized
get the
gameplay than I
timing
thought
right,
it'd be.
After some of these big attacks where there's still some electricity lingering in the air,
That animation
she
should be a little
can,
bit faster.
charge up her electricity super quick.
Because Hyrule Warriors is all about
which
time management.
Takes a lot of skill.
Yes.
And
She
lot of
waits a little bit
timing,
long
but
before doing the
it's,
snap. Like
very
Urbosa that is, not the
satisfying when you can
player.
pull it off.
Oh, wait. No,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
interrupting myself because there's a Korok.
There it is. It's so cute.
Is the equivalent? Is this the equivalent of gold Skulltulas from the original Hyrule Warriors?
And this area probably looks
can actually go
pretty
inside the
familiar to some
buildings?
Breath of the Wild fans.
Yeah.
Why is there like
It's a
no
whole
shadow
thing.
inside though?
But what I did want to say is fans can look forward to getting more backstory on these characters as well. You really get a good look at Urbosa's relationship to Zelda and also more information about Urbosa's
Yeah, that's one of the
relationship to
things
Zelda's
I'm
late
interested in
mother.
seeing, because in the
So,
story of Breath of the
if
Wild,
you're
only
like
getting
me,
like
you
little
love to get to
bits
know the
and pieces
characters
in
and
whatever
get to know
order
them in ways
of the
that you didn't
past.
get to
Typically,
in Breath
like
of the
every
Wild.
champion slash
This game
companion
is
in
your
Breath of the
opportunity
Wild
to
had
do
like
that.
1 to 2 personality traits, and then that was all their character ever
That's
was.
right. It's really, there's a lot to unpack in here and a lot to see, and it's very thrilling for fans of Breath of the Wild to be
Yeah,
able
that
to
animation should be a
take
little bit
look,
quicker in my
more
opinion.
in-depth look at this time. All right, and now we're taking a look at Zelda's gameplay.
So her whole
Also a
set is
first
based on the
look, very
Sheikah Slate then?
exciting. As you can see, she uses the runes as her main attacks, in addition to being able to use them just like everyone else.
So
She
when
can,
I know that everybody has like
create
a different
different
version of all the
combinations of
runes from what I've
to
seen,
take
or at
out
least for things like
troops,
bombs, for example.
swarms of
And it
enemies.
seems like Zelda's version of the
Gosh.
bombs is like the walking drone thing.
in a very unique way. It's
Like, it's good to differentiate it from the
so
other
cool to
attacks. You
see
could tell that it was like
how
a
Zelda's able
dedicated
to
bomb
take
thing because you could see it
out
start
these guys.
recharging. Which is when you use the D-pad version.
Annihilate enemies as Zelda. It's
So
pretty
people that
much
are,
win
you know,
for me.
new to this might
Because
find that a little bit
Zelda and a
confusing
Zelda
for
game.
Zelda, though.
yeah. Well, it's really fun
We're
to
talking
play out in
about
this
devastating photography. What the heck? Let me just take
Nice
a
work.
quick snapshot of all of you and then you
one.
die.
Nice work.
I'm just gonna go back to Urbosa because she is my favorite.
You maybe speak up.
And
She's
I-
great.
I know Zelda is great, but yeah. Okay, so I
Urbosa's
have
also
to
great.
chase
But
after.
Urbosa.
You'd think that if they're, like, hiring somebody, like, hiring a few people to showcase gameplay of one of their games, like, first of all, they'd state on the stream who they are, which they failed to do. And two, you'd think that if it's in a remote setting like this because of COVID, that they'd require all those involved to have a good microphone. Or at least, like, provide them with one if they don't have one already. Like, mic quality makes a world of a difference. Like, this right now is the microphone in front of me. But if I change it to, say, my camera over there, this is what my voice is going to suddenly sound like. This is what it's like when you don't have a good microphone. And that is why audio quality is so important, because in content creation, if you have a bad microphone, people aren't going to stick around. They're just going to leave. Let's go back to the regular microphone again, like this. So listening to that is just like, it just screams built-in microphone and unprofessionalism for a freaking official Nintendo information gameplay showcase livestream.
It's my favorite.
Like,
She's
And
great.
I know Zelda is great, but yeah.
like that just screams like computer built-in microphone and unprofessionalism for an event like this.
Okay, so I
Urbosa's
have
also
to
great.
chase
But
after.
Urbosa.
Yes. I have to chase after the Iga people, so I'm gonna go after that to the location I'm told to go. There's looks.
Like, if one of the people in it has to have like a bad microphone, if there isn't gonna be like a better one provided for them, at least give us a reason why this is like one of the people that's involved in showcasing this to us. Say that they're like a developer or a producer or something, or they're a content creator or something like that who's covered these games in the past. Tell us a little bit about them. As far as anybody knows, they're just random Joe Schmoes with not the best microphone in that case, talking about this game.
Like there's a lot of people here.
And for people who are new to the
Like, tell
Warriors
us their
series,
background.
as you can see, there are prompts on the screen that help guide you through the process of the gameplay and the action.
That's cool.
But you also can turn those off.
Is any of them three actually playing it, or is this just pre-recorded footage that they're all just like watching together and talking over? If I had to guess, it's the latter.
So
That's what it feels like.
And it looks like my
Like,
So
come
as
on,
you can
Nintendo,
see,
say who these people
when you
showcasing
use
this
the
are,
secret room,
and
there
if
is
they
a
have
little
to
bit
have
of
bad
a
microphones, give them a
time
better
for it
one.
to charge back up before you
But
can use
apparently
it
they
again.
couldn't be bothered.
Which is very similar to how it worked in Breath of the Wild. And the
So I
reason
guess I
for
did that.
using these loud attacks was to call forth a certain familiar monster, and there he is. Oh,
You can
man.
super launch off of his mouth in Breath of the Wild.
You sure it's not a lady though?
I think he's beautiful.
Something I could have also mentioned is, even though I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Breath of the Wild, it's probably the game that I'm best at out of like any game.
No,
Like,
let's
I
go
need
ahead and,
to
like,
get through a maze to make it to a shrine, I'll just
main
extended
menu
shield
while we
clip
can.
through the wall. I need to get
So we're
across the
gonna go
world,
back
just
to,
bomb launch or super
the
launch, or
world
even
map,
bullet time
which
bounce.
can show some of the gameplay.
Like, if I wanted to be a Zelda
between
speedrunner,
battles.
or Breath of the
Leveling
Wild
up
speedrunner, I could be.
characters, strengthening weapons. And
Anybody who's seen my Breath of the
unlocking
Wild playthrough
things.
knows this.
There
Oh, that's
is
cool.
a very familiar map.
My
of
camera's
Hyrule.
blocking things.
Chico,
I'm gonna
do you
turn it
wanna
off
tell us
briefly.
a little bit about this.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, so if you ever play, like original Hyrule Warriors game or maybe different
Is this the
Warriors
adventure
game,
map?
you might be familiar with how the menu look like. You will go from chapter 1 to 3 type thing. But
Okay, this is
one,
the story
you
mode.
actually, go through
Not
different
adventure map.
chapters and locations using the map of Hyrule from the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And when I first saw this, I was literally screaming because it was so gorgeous, and I just loved it. And
A little
because
screamy because it was so
Hyrule game,
gorgeous. It's just copy pasted from Breath of the Wild.
You collect a lot of different type of materials.
Unless you just talk about like the
So
UI of like the
using
missions
those
on top of it.
materials, you can unlock different locations. So it is a Hyrule Warriors game. So you will be collecting a lot of
Wait,
different
go
weapons.
back. Go back.
So
Hold
it
on.
is a Hyrule Warriors
Let's see who's all there.
game, so
So we've got Link, Impa, Zelda, Mipha, Daruk, Urbosa, and Rivali. Okay.
you will be collecting a lot of different weapons.
Huh. Wait, hold on. My camera's blocking things. I'll turn it off briefly. So every weapon has like its own experience now in this game? Level 6. That's actually interesting. Huh, so I wonder if other characters can wield multiple weapon types, because a menu like this is typical of what you may see in Breath of the Wild, with Link being able to wield a whole bunch of different weapons. I wonder if multiple different weapons for each different character would just play out the same and have the same controls. Like, for Link at least, there would be different controls if you have, say, a one-handed weapon like a sword, a two-handed, like, big spinny weapon, I don't know what they're actually called, and then a spear. Because just like in Breath of the Wild, there were 3 different like control schemes and attack patterns that Link would have based on what kind of weapon he has. Between one-handed weapons like this that are all at the top, between two-handed weapons that are like the big spinny kind of things that hit hard, which there's only the hammer of here. And then there's like the there's the freaking rusty claymores as well. Never mind, there's more of those. Sorry, I'm dumb. And then there's like the spears, of which there's a few of those. So I wonder if they all have different... It looks like maybe you can add attributes to them, kind of like in the original Hyrule Warriors. And each of them have like different attack powers and such, that I assume go up as it levels up. This is very interesting.
While you are in this,
Wait, maybe maybe it's only in the blacksmith that you enhance it. Maybe it's level up through combat, and it's here that you can add attributes through the blacksmith. Hold on, let's just listen.
Actually, here, blacksmith.
Wait,
So
wait, what did that say? Dang it, maybe that was my answer right there.
Here,
Revitalize your weapons using techniques learned through years of study and practice. So you actually have to repair them.
blacksmith. So it is Hyrule.
I could fuse weapons.
You will be collecting a lot of different weapons while you are in the stage. Not like Breath of the Wild.
These two weapons are the exact same in level 1, and one has way more power. That stands out to me. Same with like these.
The weapons do not break during the stage, but you collect
Okay, so the weapons don't break.
Weapons while you are in the stage. Not like Breath of the Wild, the weapons do not break during the stage, but you can use these weapons you collected to strengthen your primary use weapon.
Okay, so they don't break, but you can like spend them to power up like the ones that you actually want to keep like a focus on, I guess.
So, right now I'm using this sword, but there's other different type of weapons I can get and different, way to use it.
Yeah, and it shows the weapon type symbol there.
Different type
So
of weapon.
yeah, it shows like one-handed and with shield.
Right now I'm using this sword, but
And then yeah, there's the symbol of like a
different
spear
type of-
and the big two-handed weapon thingamabobs, even though the spears are technically two-handed too, but they're different. So I wonder if there's going to be different weapon types like this for the other characters as well, or if it's just because each different weapon type here, just in like in Breath of the Wild and the original Hyrule Warriors, is basically a completely different moveset, as if you're playing as a different character that just has the same look as, say, Link. But the controls are completely, well, not the controls are completely different, but the combos and moves are completely different, is what I mean to say. So I wonder if the other characters, or how many other characters are going to have like alternate weapons like that, or if it's just going to be multiple of the same type of weapon, kind of like it was in Hyrule Warriors for most of the characters, where they only got like one weapon, for example, but there were a handful of characters that got like 2 or 3, and Link had like 8 or 9 or something like that, each of which was a completely different playstyle, whereas most characters only got like one type of weapon, which meant that they would only have like the one same set of combos, which meant that Link in the original Hyrule Warriors would typically get the most experience, because he was the most essentially different characters crammed into one, all getting the same experience into the same pool, whereas my other ones that only had like one weapon would typically struggle to get experience because they'd be like super niche, and I'd very rarely be forced to use them, whereas Link was forced to be used all the time because he had like so many different weapons that the game would force me to use.
Weapons I can get and different, way to use it.
Wait, did that show? It is showing attributes. Hold on, I didn't even notice that. I just saw this symbol here and I was like, wait, what was that? I didn't even see that here. A healing item effect plus 3%. Damage from enemies minus 3%. Battle XP plus 3%. Okay, so there's gonna be like farming skills like that as well. So it is just like the weapon kind of attributes. So I assume like higher level weapons can get more attributes, because on the ones midair damage, special attack charge rate, damage per 100 KOs. Oh, that's pretty cool. I assume that just like the original Hyrule Warriors, the first kind of base level weapons that you get can only get like 1 or 2 attributes on them, but as you continue getting better ones later on and unlocking them, they'll have like multiple slots, because what I notice here is there's only like the 1+, and on other weapons that already have 1 attribute, there's not another plus underneath it, but we have seen some weapons that do have 2 attributes on them
to strengthen your primary use weapon. So right now I'm using this sword.
So I assume that these like low beginning of the game level weapons are only going to be able to have like 1 or 2 attribute slots on them, but there will be ways to get ones that have more later on. Wait, hold on, I'm gonna listen.
Right now I'm using this sword, but there's other different type of weapons I can get and different way to use it. So I want to use my sledgehammer, iron sledgehammer, and fuse them with all the materials I got so far.
With the level
And
1
I think
Okay.
that you will not neglect.
So it looks like there is a level cap,
Don't
level
you
20.
dare.
Okay, so
Okay. Whew. I was worried.
I shouldn't. Is it okay? It's okay.
No, you
With the level
And I
1
think
soup ladle that you will not neglect. Don't you dare.
Isn't that supposed to be like a thing that's only if you get the digital version until like a month after the game comes out or something like that? Or sometime after the game comes out, it'll be available for like physical uses as well.
Okay. Whew. I was worried.
Why are you saying you were worried that it was, and then she freaking does it anyway? Like,
Okay.
I don't understand.
And I think
soup
I'm
ladle
materials I got so far.
with the level
And I
1
think
soup
I'm-
ladle that you will not neglect.
That you will not neglect.
Don't you dare.
Don't you dare.
Okay. Whew.
And then there's like the sigh of relief, and then fuse is pressed.
Is it okay? It's okay.
No,
It's
use
like-
it. Use
Okay,
it.
so
Oh, yes, it's
you
okay.
can use up to 5 different weapons,
I don't get
and then you can strengthen.
Okay, it looks like I was wrong about the attributes.
Soup ladle.
Because the
Right
iron
now I'm
sledgehammer,
using
as we saw
up to,
earlier,
primary
only had the
use
one plus thing on it. So it
you
looks
know,
like this
right now
doesn't
I'm
mean that
using,
there's only one
this,
slot.
Sword, but
Looks
there's
like I was
other
wrong
different
about
type of weapons I can get, and different,
Yeah, it only shows the one plus,
and then-
but after the fuse
Level
here,
one.
it gets both those
Ladle.
attributes.
That you will not neglect.
But it's like a yellow plus here.
Don't you dare.
Interesting.
Okay, so I mean,
Okay.
Wait, how many attributes are from the other
Fuse
weapons
and
being
those
put onto it? So let's see here, that's attack range.
so far.
That's also attack range. Or maybe it doesn't have anything. Okay, that one must not have had anything.
The level
And that's
1
damage from
soup
enemies.
ladle that you will not neglect.
Okay, I was about to say if other things that went into the fusion did have attributes, we would be able to see if the iron sledgehammer would have been able to have more than those 2 attributes. But it looks like only 2 of the weapons involved in it even had attributes.
Don't you dare.
Interesting.
Okay, so I mean,
Okay. Whew. I was worried.
I shouldn't. Is it okay? It's okay.
No, use it. Use
Okay,
it.
so
Oh, yes, it's
you
okay.
can use up to 5 different weapons, and then you can strengthen. You of course have to use a rupee, so make sure you collect the rupees when
It's
you,
interesting how weapons have
use
levels
things
of their
too.
own in
And
this.
now I have my sledgehammer leveled up to 5, so I can use
Hmm.
that for next battle if I want to. So now I looked at this, so I can earn the recipe for chili fish stew.
It's
Right,
very
and the
Breath of the
recipes
Wild.
can
My,
be
oh my.
used to give your characters a little bit of a buff before you go into battle. And there are a
And
bunch
there's
of
like the
different
little
types,
completion
have
kind of
different
bar for
effects,
each
so
area
it's
at the
fun
top
to
right. That's pretty cool.
Collect them and see what they do.
I wonder what the little icons mean, like
Yep, they
characters that are
also,
usable there or
like,
something?
The, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so by defeating monsters and getting those materials, you can also turn them into these other quests, which you can use to unlock bonus combos or extra health or
Oh, so
other
it's like that instead of
materials.
badges?
types that have different
To
effects,
like
so it's
unlock
pretty
the rest of
fun
your
to
combos?
collect them and see what they do. Creates this dummy, helps
So I
you
wonder
build
if there
it,
is
and
going to
then
be a
they train
separate
together,
adventure
and
map,
that's
or if
how
it's just
Link
going to be
is
a whole
able
bunch
to
of
come up with
additional
an
orange
extra,
icons kind of like this
move
on the
for
main
his
map.
Two-handed sword.
Yeah, the world building
So,
is really excellent in this game.
I wonder if you unlock like more weapons for each
Yeah.
characters
He
later
just,
on. Like more weapon
strengthens
slots, that
his
is.
200, I mean,
Like more than
sledgehammer,
20.
it's basically a 200 sword. So I changed my weapon, and I guess I can change my
I wonder if the attire, it probably doesn't, if I had to guess, maybe it doesn't actually affect any stats, and maybe it's just like alternate costumes like in the original Hyrule Wars, except customizable piece by piece. If so, that'd actually be like really cool.
attire.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Oh, yeah, good
unlock
one.
different pieces of armor as you progress through the game.
Yeah, and if you watch the TGS,
So it's like main
live
battles,
stream, you
side
might have
quests, and
seen the,
side
cutscene
activities
where it's
done at the
showing
bottom
the
left.
Tower actually raising from the ground, and that tower is actually going to
Main
be
battles,
a
side
base
activities, and
for
side
Link,
quests that are like the gathering
whenever
things
he
is
goes
probably
to
what
the
that is.
next mission. So I think you just saw him
Okay.
kind of like warping from the tower to that new location where I'm gonna be showcasing the 200 sword.
Out of all the
Side
icons there, it
missions.
doesn't look like there's anybody that we didn't know about yet
Right.
featured.
Without
So
a
yeah,
shirt on.
Unfortunately, that would have been cool if it was spoiled like that.
Hey, don't jump me.
Oh, there's
know,
the shield
no
button.
judgment.
Two-handed sword is a lot of
If
work.
anything, I
Oh,
think
it's
it's
so much
bad for
faster
Link.
than Breath of the Wild, as it should be.
No, you know, he
I guess
works
there's
up
less
quite a
fabric to
sweat
get in the
swinging
way
that
while
thing
he's
around.
fighting.
ZR
Yeah,
follow
so
up.
as you can see, this is a training level, so you're but the fun thing about it is that you can,
Wait, what does he eat? Hold on.
but the
wait.
fun thing about it is that
Those
you
look
can-
kind of like bomb rocks from Pikmin is what they look
he
like.
can use the I love that they included that in this game as part of the actual.
So there's a
fighting style
paraglider
for
thing as
two-handed
well. That's pretty
sword.
cool.
I think it's a great homage to Breath of the Wild and people who played it like I did.
Man, you gotta love it when your
which is
consumable
to say
items do
having
less
a,
AoE than your main unlimited use
stockpile
weapon.
of apples or something in my inventory.
I
so
assume that
could
you're probably just supposed to
chow
use those
down
items for
I'm
when
being
certain
lured
enemies
back
have
by
like
a
weaknesses
strong
to
attack
it.
that did lots of damage. I'd also like to point out that this location is very familiar. It appeared as ruins in Breath of the Wild, but now, before the Calamity, it's in its heyday. And it's very cool to see what it looked like when it.
Well, are you
before
gonna
it
say
got
where it
destroyed.
was in Breath of the Wild? You're just gonna say that it existed in Breath of the Wild as ruins.
Yeah, and
Nice
Chico
one.
maybe
But now you
can
see it,
show
like,
us,
restored.
some light-
But like,
lightning
where
rod
is it
action.
so that we could potentially compare it? You're not gonna tell us?
Oh yeah, we did get to see the ice rod before.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so it seems like it's better for like use on bigger, tougher enemies rather than AoE.
Can do it. I love the two-handed sword so much. I think it's my favorite. It's so
The animations are really
satisfying,
clean though.
You know, to just
And the
slam
attacks are
through
nice
all
and
of
fast and
these
do good
enemies,
AoE. Some of the
you know,
problems that some of
thousands
the
and
characters in the
thousands of
original
enemies.
Hyrule Warriors had is that their AoE was
and also
freaking
to like
garbage,
take a
kind of
little
like
bit and have a snack here
Agatha.
and then. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
But from what I've seen of the
hoping we
gameplay
can-
so
I know
far,
your
all
favorite
the
some
characters
of the-
we've seen so
Flurry
far
Rush, too.
with the different weapons and such have had good AoE
I
though.
tried!
Hopefully everybody has that.
No, you don't.
No, you
Because this
don't.
game is all about AoE.
Right, you're
AoE
almost
and time
there.
management.
Character too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
He moves surprisingly
That wall
quickly
jump
for
button
someone of
intrigues
his
me.
size, though, I
Yeah,
have
that
to
reaches
say.
pretty far.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was certainly something.
you can do it.
Yeah,
keep
that
going.
weak
I'm
point
believing
gauge
you.
stays available for a good while. That is very forgiving.
He's like 2 times
Oh my
Which I suppose
goodness.
is fine.
Oh my gosh. That looks like a little bit of rough play for training.
They take their training very seriously.
Oh, that's cool. And it's way
Nice
faster
work.
than Urbosa's weak
Yeah,
point
wow.
smash thing.
Yeah, you made very
Which
quick
should be a
work
little
of
bit
that.
faster in my
Good
opinion.
job.
Yeah, and it's cool to see all the various characters, you know, that we know and love from Breath of the Wild, but seeing them in this different setting. And seeing
I
all of their
wouldn't say I
special
love
moves
them
and
from
how
Breath of
those
the Wild
differ.
when most
I
of them,
do
like all the
really like
champions
seeing
at
that,
least,
and I'm
only
excited
had
for
like
what we're about to show you
two
as
personality
well,
traits.
You, the viewers.
Yeah, it's great.
And
It's-
like no
it's an
development at
amazing
all.
thing
Zero
that they've done
character
with this
development in
game
any of the
to,
champions.
bring us into this
Or
era,
companions.
you
Well,
know,
I guess
pre-Calamity and
Yonobo
show us all these
technically like
characters
finds
and
his
show us
courage,
the
but he's annoying, so
intricacies
who
of how
cares?
they was the chance to
Mhm.
be able to see these guys in their prime. So it's a lot of fun.
It's as if they
Yeah.
weren't given
And-
that
and not to-
opportunity in a
Not to
lackluster
bring the
story in
soup
Breath
ladle
of
up
the
too much,
Wild.
but I do want to say, I love that they
I love it. I love that when you use the soup ladle, you got the pot lid
From
as
the
a shield,
gameplay that we
too.
saw so far, I feel like Impa is gonna be like
Alright,
one of the
so
best
we're
characters
looking
for
at
AoE.
Impa now.
So I'm curious to see if that's the case. Why is there no audio for the game?
But I need to take care of these guys first because.
Oh, now the audio's
So
coming
obviously
in.
This is a new depiction of Impa that we're seeing here, but Chico is about to show us just what Impa is.
Okay, so it looks like it
capable
can
of
have
in the
good
gameplay.
AoE if you expand it out.
I
So it doesn't
love
like
her.
necessarily
I
have to be that
love
little
Impa
thing.
so much.
Man,
I
that
think
weak point
she's
gauge is so
so
forgiving
much
and stays
fun
available
to
for so
play.
long. Holy
She's so
crap.
quick, and she has these different jutsu attacks that she uses, like the summoning of the frog.
Berg!
And the creation of stone.
I've bullied
And here we
a
have
decent
a
few
Hinox.
Hinoxes in Breath of the Wild. Most notably the Trial of the Sword one,
I
which
love
was
it.
beaten
So,
3
yeah, as I
times
was
when it was
saying,
only
in
supposed to be
terms of
beaten
gameplay,
once.
being able to
Because
absorb those symbols
that game
to
has a
create
lot of
clones
jank that lets you
and then
exploit things.
strengthen the strong attack when she has all of her clones out is it's really fun. Takes
The
a lot
stasis
of
during
strategy
weak point
and
gauges being
timing.
out, I feel like is gonna be really strong.
Nice.
Level
And
50.
It really is
Link was like
vital
level
to get these
18.
Point smashes in because they do.
I guess
so
it's
much
like a
damage,
development version.
and it can really make it easy to, or easier, I should say.
Like,
to
look
take
at that.
these
How
guys
many
out.
attacks are going at once when you get like so many clones? I wonder what the
That was
cap
just
is.
Having a nap.
Like, as the battle goes on, it's like, holy crap.
I don't
Doing
know
his own
about that.
thing. Well, I mean,
Like, how do
I
you
would be
lose
broken too
clones?
If I got woken up like that.
That's fair. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
You
This
still
was
haven't said
Hyrule
who all you
Warriors Age of
are.
Calamity, which releases Friday, November 20th. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure did.
Who are
And,
you?
have a great day. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I liked getting more news on both those titles. Like, seeing what's new with Pikmin 3 was really neat, and I look forward to those modes. I'm really disappointed that there's no online multiplayer. And it was interesting to see some more of Age of Calamity, and see a little bit of how the weapon system works and stuff like that. The hosts of each of them, neither presentation did any of the hosts say, like, who they were, apart from names. So, as far as we know, they're just random Joe Schmoes. And, it just felt, like, very unprofessional. Like, I was not that impressed with how the stream was handled, to say the least. But, you know, I've already voiced that during it. Anyway, so, yeah, there's that. Anybody watching this after the fact, thanks so much for, you know, stopping by and watching this video. I'll be covering both Pikmin 3 and Age of Calamity right when they come out. If the demo thing for Pikmin 3 comes out, I'll cover that when it's out, and then just start my playthrough again from the beginning when the full game comes out, because I want to try the whole thing on Ultra Spicy mode. I was literally just saying in this presentation, like, man, if only there was difficulty modes. And then they say that there's difficulty modes. And I can't believe it's called Ultra Spicy, because I always say that things are like spicy if they're, well, spicy. So, that's gonna be pretty spicy, to say the least. So, thank you all for watching. I'm gonna head out of here for now and catch up on my freaking bazillion assignments that I have stacking up. And I'm out of here for now, so see ya.